What's up, speculators? Let's fire up the afternoon broadcast for the Power Hour. I think I titled this one "Dow Bells Ringing." So we're trading the Dow from the long side here. We were shorting it yesterday into that massive rally and didn't really take any winners. Given that, but I was fortunate to hold some shorts. Now we'll play it from this side. If anyone comes in and can give me a 1 in the chat for picture and sound, that would be great. I see like 2 people in here. I just fired it up at the very last minute. I think it should be working. Go through this every day. I'll get better. What a wild ride. I have it in these prop programs, so I'm just going to take it off in the prop program.
Order filled.
And buy the pullback to
order submitted.
To VWAP here.
Order submitted.
Keep it on in the live account. Targeting this +1 area,
order
which
submitted.
Is this pink line right up here. I was just watching a couple other streams and lots of focus on a little bit of prediction, and I tend not to do that. Don't really know, don't really care. We ran a poll this morning and it was, are we going to close above or below 40,000? And you guys might both be right. We're trading right at 40,000 Dow. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. If you're first time watching me, micros only. Micros only because I promote and recommend a variety of the prop programs. And in my humble opinion, and I've only been doing this for 35 years, you got to trade the appropriate size for the account that you're trading. And all these prop accounts are really, really small accounts. You wouldn't even have the day trader margin required to trade a full mini at some firms like Interactive Brokers. You might have the day trader margin at discount brokers. Micros make money as well, folks. So the results from today, I'm actually still down a teeny bit in the one live tracking account, but this is, let me just put this down here because sometimes that's people like to see that, so we'll just put it over here. It's 5 funded accounts, if you will, kind of the TDG way. And in these particular environments, I'm going to stay on the S&P and the Dow. You want to talk about Mr. Toad's wild ride? Try trading the NASDAQ through these environments. Oh, this has stayed pretty wild the whole session. So it stayed wild the whole session. But what's been nice is for the last hour or two, you've had finally some two-way action. You had some pops, some quick drops, some pops, some quick drops. And here on the Dow, you can see this is about as flat of a VWAP as you're going to get. So I'm gonna mess in the middle of the muck a little bit here.
Order filled. Order submitted. Order filled.
So we got a 2 lot on there, and let me just check out what's going on with the copier.
Order filled.
Yeah, so I wanna use the copier with this. So let me get a 2 lot on there, and we'll use this as our lead account. Pretty much done trading the take profits for today. Real nice profit already locked up. So we can just scalp here too.
Order submitted.
Geez, you can't even scalp. Things move so fast. But we should see if we get a little pop here off of VWAP. The entry here is just a VWAP pullback. It's pretty standard. Nothing is hanging around at various levels for too long these days, so I'm going to take heat in both directions. A swing below this level here of 738 will not be ideal. Checking in with the S&P. Resting in order to buy the bid zone way down here. Middle of the bid zone, 5,200, so that's a ways away. And NASDAQ, like I said, I'm not going to be involved with here on the NASI. All right, now I will say what I'm not, I will get in here
filled.
on
Order filled.
On these take profits.
Order submitted.
We'll swing below there.
Order filled.
Definitely I think this has been a reoccurring theme if you have listened to anybody or been watching these markets yourself. This is the wildest series of markets I can remember essentially ever seeing, like ever in the history of forevers and forevers.
Order filled.
I don't remember seeing anything quite this wacky.
Submitted. Order submitted. Order filled.
The next long here is actually way down here at 466, but
canceled.
I'm going to cancel that and just leave the minus twos on there. The minus twos. I'll have a 4 lot on here on the PAs. These are bigger PAs. I'll keep the minus twos down. Sorry, minus ones. I apologize. Minus ones.
Order filled. Order filled. Order submitted. Order filled. Order submitted.
By the swings here.
Order submitted. Order submitted.
This is the these are the take profits over here. So got a little better prices on those than the original entries. See if this S&P wants to hold 5,300. I think it's unlikely. This is generally not the kind of day where you're going to get a tremendous amount of counter trend moves during this power hour. You might see some right into the close, but I'd be looking for some lower prices. Again, that's not predictive. We're just, let me get these. Okay, we got those all there. Yeah, 1987, the markets were higher by the end of the year, but the differences between then, I was a senior in high school.
Order filled. Order filled.
The difference between then and now is so profound in terms of the speed of the computers and all this kind of stuff. I mean, no one had access to markets like this. It would just be a floor trader or something that might have experienced something like that.
Order submitted. Order filled.
Every time here,
Order
folks,
submitted.
I'm hitting the sell ask button.
Order filled.
I'm hitting the sell ask button, not the market button. And you'll miss some trades, but you'll get those little, or not so little, quick moves. The S&P just bounced from the 291s to 08s in 20 seconds. 20 seconds. I have a number of platforms that I trade on, but for the purposes of streaming and for what I'm doing in my room right now, it's predominantly NinjaTrader. I'm going to reduce risk here and here.
Order submitted.
So that can get back involved here.
Order filled.
At these swings.
Order submitted. Order submitted.
So trading view as well. Trading view right here. I'm resting an order at 18,190s to buy the NASDAQ there on trading view. That's in a another tracking account. Has about $7,000 in it.
Order filled. Order filled. Order filled.
Cool little move there. Allows me to get back in.
Order submitted.
So quick.
Order submitted. Order submitted.
This is about as active scalping as you're ever going to see me do, but let's just play the hand that we're being dealt right now, and scalp around this Dow Jones. The Dow bell's ringing. Missed it there. Missed it there. Missed it there. All right. Core position still a 2-lot. Looking for a pop up to close to 40,000 again. But would not mind some significant chop in here for a little while. These green and red lines right here are just 13-period swings. See all this? So I like them here because you can draw in little support and resistance channels. I mean, in this market right now, they're not going to hold for very long, right? But in a whatever we want to call typical market, more typical market, you could get a little chop channel here that you could trade, you could trade for a while. I think we got a fill here now this time, right? So
order fill.
Just scalp it there. Missed it there. If I had the copier on, we'd be in better shape, but I don't.
Order
So
submitted.
bring these up to here and here. So we can look to get a fill. And if you're real anal, I would color these. I kind of like to have them colored. So this would be our bid zone, and this would be our offer zone. Again, we don't want to optimize for the wildness that is what's going on right now, right? So see if we can get another move down 39.7s. So my Kerpas now is just right here. I'm just just long. Can you see that with the prop done right book in the way? No. Let me move this over a little bit. There we go. There we go. So we're in just a Dow. Trading the Dow here. If you want to extend this out, you can see we just broke slightly out of that, but how long do we stay in this chop channel? These modified Renkos are not everyone's cup of tea. I mean, they whip around all over the place. All right, here we go. I'm going to take this here.
Order filled.
Which I'm pretty sure gets me flat. Yeah, it gets me flat on all the prop programs. So we'll just leave this on here. And yeah, it's kind of a new equity high for the day. Anyone trading the Dow here with me? So, I actually wrote an article about the power of quitting. So it has to do. Question was around having a daily profit goal. I don't have a daily profit goal. Kind of never have. In fact, I actually have weekly and monthly kind of profits that I sort of target or see how I'm tracking relative to past history, expectations, and a whole lot of data. I keep quite a bit of data. Not on the trading that I do here. All right. That's enough of a move now where I'm just gonna close
Order
it
canceled.
and come in here and
Order
rebuy.
submitted.
It's a lot of work to lose $129. A lot of work to lose $129. Let me show my website here real quick. Let me see. And I just wanted to take you over to the blog. And there is a blog post called The Power of Quitting. So let me grab this for you. I'll put it in the chat. Talks about how and when to walk away on a winning day. So the question was around profit and a variety of different criteria to potentially look at. I even did this sort of silly AI podcast, where I had these suggestions put into a podcast format. So, all right, let's get back to the screens here. All right. I'm going to come in a little early.
Order submitted.
Come on. Look at it just bounce away from me. Be careful what you wish for. On the break below this 233, you're supposed to see continuation, but we're not seeing anything like that. We're above VWAP here, so.
Order filled.
There we go. Now we're in the game. Next ad will be at back here, and we can just scalp it right here in this area.
Order
here.
submitted.
Take this and move it up to here. We haven't really established any chop bid zone yet. So no chop bid zone there. Let me send this. Oh, cool. Thank you. I'll check it out later. All right.
Order filled.
There's another fill. So I think we're copied in all the accounts. Yep. So I'd extend this out like this, and then this would be the next level. See what they're going to do here. 40,000. Psychological. Here's the NASDAQ, by the way. This is on a 16 by 4. Try trading this thing. It's just like madness. Dow, S&P, very correlated today. Again, I'm looking for a long way down here at 5,200. If I really wanted to make sure I got the absolute best price, it'd be 51.55s on just a collapse. We've been close to down 5% multiple times today on the S&P, or I think a little bit more actually. I think the NASDAQ was down 6% a couple times. You guys ever seen these Sanzos? It's not a commercial. I'm not paid by these guys. Sanzo. Stuff is good. It does have 20 calories in it, but it has actual real fruit and citric acid. Got to have some citric acid in there. All right. Don't know what that is. Don't know what any of this is. It's always just... We created a little swing there, so maybe we can get back up there. Let me move this over a little bit so we're in the middle. I can just extend these zones out.
Order submitted.
Get a trade going on there. I want to be clear that these zones I drew in here have very little, if any, predictive power. Almost zero. I don't have any volume I'm looking at there. No internals, no nothing. So they have, on days like this, they have almost zero predictive power. And all these trades are happening in what we would call the middle of the muck, right at VWAP. And the VWAP is completely flat. So these are total coin toss trades. Why am I taking them? For entertainment purposes. They're real. This is a real account. But you're not going to see days like this very often, so give you an opportunity to show how I'll manage risk if the trade really goes against me. And the answer is I'll close one, Probably close both of them if it breaks below that 39.7. And then I could just wait for the bid zone. What does have predictive power is price staying within 2 standard deviations of VWAP for most of the cash session. That has predictive power. But on days when you're getting this type of range expansion, the bands are generally so far away. Now we can get back into the bands, but right now the bands, by the way, are this down here, this area down here. These are the bands right here and up here. Okay. So all this here is the middle of the muck, which if we wanted to talk about rules, you wouldn't do anything here. So you wouldn't be involved in any of these levels right here. See if there's any muscle memory left at 7. There's not, so I'm just going to hit the close button.
Order filled.
And now I can trade down here at
Order submitted.
the next stop, which would be like 39,266. S&P is pushing lower as well. The -1 there would be your first entry at 52.35s.
Order filled.
I'm going to enter here
Order filled.
in these funded prop accounts just because I have a bigger risk budget than I use in this live account. So you can also use them as scouts, just get a little taste.
Order submitted. Order submitted.
All right, getting a little pop here. So sometimes what I'll do is just take the profit in
Order filled.
one account,
Order
leave it on in the
submitted.
other like as a little runner. See if that happens. Excuse me. All right, there we go. Right back up to VWAP. Now I exited this trade in this live tracking account right here. It's because it broke this little area. Now it's back up. Doesn't matter. Take your loss. And then I'm going to basically get flat here
Order filled.
And now we can get back involved.
Order submitted.
There we go on that pullback. Right to that swing.
Order filled.
Take one here. Take one here.
Order filled.
So as I was saying, these bar types, in this environment, you can slow them down by just making them bigger. I have an 11x2 on here. You could double the size. It's going to slow down how quick the bars print. The logic's pretty simple. It prints a new bar at this point every 2 ticks in the prevailing direction. So it would essentially need 24 ticks to do a color rotation, if you will. But it's not so much the bars, it's that all this tick data really does allow me to see these swings in price, which are really good for really rapid scalping.
Order submitted. Order submitted.
But as I've said for the last couple days and even last week, try not to optimize too much for what's going on right now. Some people might choose to sit out. Some people might choose to completely go to sim. Here's why I'm not a huge fan of completely staying out and completely going to sim. By sim, I mean you're not even doing a prop account evaluation that you paid something for, or you're not trading at all in one of your funded accounts, which funded accounts, the accounts that you qualify for payouts, I mean, they're real capital, right? They're real money. You can get paid. I look at them as just sort of teaching tools and learning tools. So, I mean, I guess technically these accounts have $8,000 or $9,000, $7,000 or $8,000 in them, but do they really? Anyhow, but at least it's better to stay on those than to completely switch to sim, because just people don't tend to be able to keep it real in those environments. So you might be tempted to get a little wacky. You know what I mean?
Order filled. Order submitted.
Get a little wacky. All right. I can't even see what's going on over here. Oh, there we go. Look at this ingrown hair bugging me.
Order submitted. Order submitted.
Make up your mind, Dow. Do something.
Order filled.
My daily risk budget
Order
in
filled.
the $150,000 accounts is $880. In the 50,000s, it's about half of that.
Order filled.
All right, we got 2 lot on now here.
Order filled.
Welcome to replay at full speed. No exit on these, just looking for an add at 266. You got to do the math on where that is, right? Over here, I'm looking to get 52 12s on the S&P. 52 12s. Unreal. That'd be like a quick 50-point drop, which could happen. That could really happen. He knows the aerodynamics of the cliff. So we stay below the T line here, the 233. It favors the sell side. The nice thing about, again, the last couple hours, if you've been watching the markets, is it's had some opportunity for both. If you want to lean into some shorts for some momentum, you can do that. I just suggest that you try to get those shorts on meaningful pops. Just try to get them on meaningful pops. S&P still not in the bid zone here, which is going to start at 52.36. And the treacherous NASDAQ, which is ripping 100 points in 1-minute candles. You're looking at like 18 threes. By the way, 18 threes is a key level because here if you look right here, 18 231s right in here. This is our T line on our higher time frame. T line on the higher time frame. And for me, the higher time frame is just 30-minute candles. So a lot of the time, you'd have this. This would be the setup I'd be looking for. Let me, there we go. In my setup, I mean this split screen thing where you got this and this going on. That's it. A VPS wouldn't help if the power went out. I mean, I have a UPS. I have a power backup. A couple of them in the house, and then I have a bunch of laptops, and I have hotspots and things. So everything you need for oh shit moments. Prop done right book's a little big. There we go. I'm going to cancel these
Order canceled.
Russell orders.
Order canceled.
As the Russell's creeping down here.
Order filled. Order filled.
So the NASDAQ just hit what we would call our -1, which is just touched right here. And again, down 5%. This indicator here is just, all it's doing is marking change from close. So it gives you points and then percentage. I kind of like it. It's a free indicator you can just put on your charts. Looks like we're going to get our ad at minus ones, potentially. All right, I'm going to cancel any order except for, I'll leave the 52s. Let me go here, 52. 52's right there. What a great day to trade the Dow. Keep your risk under control. Half candle retrace. Is that like a little 50% fib? %50 fib. By the way, a lot of people like my service in my trade room for the singing, so prepare for it. What a difference a day makes, 24 little hours. What was it up? What was the Dow up yesterday? 2,500 points or something like that? I think the Nasdaq was up 2,000. Make up your mind, people. We're going low, going to the -2s. Get our 272 on here. You able to get pay? Yeah. So I have all these accounts just to make sure that some of the things that I teach and trade and talk about meet up with all these various programs. So I did a video a little while ago where I actually the question is about adding to unprofitable positions, or what is sometimes called scaling, or this, nothing about what I'm doing is martingale or anything like that. And the ads are at predefined levels. That order is of that blue line down there, 39,266. It's the way this strategy works and what you do. Now you could have full inventory on for that, or buy one, take one off. Can do it's like a little graceful exit here, buy this pullback to this level here, whatever you want to do. But the short answer is I'm working with all these firms to make sure that micro traders who manage risk first can trade however they want. All these rules, unfortunately, are designed, many of the firms need to have them in place because they've created carnival games. And this is every firm, folks. You can pick whatever firm you like. They might or might not have these particular rules. But since they're allowing ridiculously over-leveraged trading, minis in accounts with $1,000 in them, that's what's going to happen. I'm going to take a graceful exit here, which just basically means take one off for a loss, just to cut down on that position. Yesterday I was up stuck. We'll be up stuck again. We have 3 more minutes until the market on close orders, so we should see some action there, and we'll see which way it goes. So I can't answer any question quickly, but my goal is to work with these programs as much influence as I have, and I'm fortunate to know most of the people at most of the places. and trying to figure out if we can just carve out a way that if people trade risk-adjusted returns properly, they'll just get rubber stamped every time they ask for a payout. Now, risk-adjusted returns is not putting on half or near full size and having your P&L swing all over the place, but technically by the letter of the law, you never added to an unprofitable trade, or you never had two positions that were corresponding, or whatever the case may be. It's just a damn shame that these firms don't put in rock hard, solid drawdown rules, all of them, and then reduce the size by 60% or more. The most you should be able to trade in any of these accounts is one mini or 5 micros, 10 micros, until such time as you get the account up to a cash balance of greater than the minimum maintenance margin required to trade that instrument. So what do I mean? If you get your account up to $18,000, you can trade a mini. Now, I get it that there are folks that have been able to dance between the raindrops and spin up huge profits. Or they trade in such a way where they lose 2,000 or 3,000 day after day after day, but they made 25,000 one day, so they can cut into it, and then they just wait for that next $20,000 day. Okay, great. It's not actually, it's nothing like real professional trading. And while a lot of firms will highlight the success of some traders like that, there's the market on close orders.
Order filled.
I didn't know I was still long a 2-lot here, so
Order filled.
I'm not exactly sure why. I thought I got out
Order
of that.
submitted. Order submitted.
But I can pretty much assure you I'm probably the only person in the world that has $8,000 balances in PA accounts at Apex that trades just this way. I have never put a mini on in any of these accounts. I've never had more than 3 contracts, in maybe 4 max, in any individual instrument, and you can do what I'm showing here on the screen. So if you want to do it a different way, have at it. But I mean, I can assure you, if you deposit $3,000 or $5,000 of your own money into a futures account, and you trade any way close to the way I see half the guys trading on Top Step or anything like that, you're going to blow that money. It's gone. So you're better off paying whatever it costs to participate in those programs. All right, I'm going to just sell the
Order
ask
filled.
here and be out of it here.
Order canceled.
And then here I'll wait for target, which is going to be this red line, which is VWAP. The great thing about this business, if you will, is there's hundreds and thousands of ways to make and lose money. So it's probably the first time today. I don't care what you do. You can over leverage yourself, trade whatever strategy you want, inverse gap level fill, Wagyu beef, taco spiral indicator. You can trade naked with no indicators at all, thinking you're some sort of special price action trader. I never even understand what that means. Could I turn off these swing levels here? Sure, but they show me swing levels. They're not predictive of anything. Except a place in which something happened prior, right? Anyway, the key, just don't lose a lot of money on any given day. And the fact that all these firms allow you to lose pretty much a lot of money on any given day, that's a shame. Now the whole thing is, well, we're going to give you some rope and just see if you choose to hang yourself with it or if you tie it in a pretty bow and or make a swing out of it. See if this Dow can get up and touch the 820s. I think it can. I'm just going to come right below 800. Right below 800. How many accounts I have blown? You mean blown on purpose or? So the folks that have been in my room and following, I think total.
Order filled.
All right, just hit target there. I don't know, maybe across all firms and everything I've been doing here since we started, 50 maybe, something like that. But that's over the last 5 years. Once I get PAs, I run them in series of 5 at a time, and I'll keep them for a little while, and then
Order filled.
like Bullinox is a good example. I spun those up, took payouts, had them for a while. I still have some now, have some, what do you call them, master accounts, but I don't really do much with them. But if you do this
Order submitted.
quote unquote correctly,
Order filled.
not only will you really not blow up accounts, you won't even have
Order
wild
filled.
swings to your P&L. You won't even really have wild swings to your P&L. This is 25 and 26 of this. 25 and 26. Can you see that there? These are my first and ever pro accounts. I don't know. These numbers are weird. Like, I don't know. I've been very public of the fact that I've never taken a payout from Take Profit. I might do it at some point. All right, we'll sell the bid there.
Filled. Order filled.
Top one futures, I don't know anything about it. No, I've definitely lost accounts. There was a bunch of sometimes I don't even know the rules. So like Take Profit had $1,100. You know, speaking of, this is cool. Like, this is going to take me forever, but I've mentioned the guys over at the trading desk. So let me bring this up because this one got stopped out today on 2 trades really quick. It's still positive. It has a positive value. Let me go over here to futures desk. I don't know if you guys can see this. So 509. So the value is now 322. The equity high that I had here was I think 1100. So this is definitely in a little bit of a drawdown. If you're not familiar with this firm, this is called the Futures Desk, and they start your account value at 0, the same way XFAs and some other. This is the way prop really should work. And they have a $500 daily loss limit that's just set, which I love, right? And we have a lot of folks that have set up things in Rhythmic and stuff to protect themselves against themselves. But anyhow, if you're looking for one that's a lot closer to reality. Still, unfortunately, allows you to trade minis and trade a little bit too big, but at least has a set, soft $500 daily risk limit, which is bigger than you should in a $3,000 account. I think this is the $3,000 accounts. All right, let me cancel all these orders.
Order canceled.
So we're all flat. All joking aside, I mean, I show this. I'm going to stream every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and we'll see what the status is. But these are going to be green 95% of the time. So okay, good, Josh. Yeah, I mean, look, I can't even execute this the way it should be executed. So for instance, even with all this volatility today, the way to execute this properly, I could have come in here and done nothing because the Dow the entire time was what we would call in the middle of the muck, right? The NASDAQ got down to, I think it did a touch, right? The NASDAQ put a touch in right here. Okay, so look at this. Okay. Right? Put a touch in right there and worked out perfectly. I don't know if anyone, right? So this is the top of the bid zone. We would call it -1. So the NASDAQ got down there. The Dow didn't. So Josh is mentioning, get carried away with DCA and all this stuff. You're limiting yourself to the amount of contracts you can trade. But really, if you go back and look at all your stats, what you're also doing is not properly entering even the first initial trade. And you guys know that. If you're doing anything like this mean reversion, the issues that people have with mean reversion usually is they're always in their first one or two trades are not at a valid level, not at a mean reverting level. They're just not. And then once you finally do get into that offer zone where you're looking to short or when you finally do get into that bid zone, you don't have any risk budget left. You've already fucked up the day. That's the issue. It's not really, you want to go back and say, and I'm not gaslighting this, Josh, you or anybody else. I'm just speaking about, I've been doing this so long and I've worked with so many traders. And when I look at their stats and they say, well, I get killed on these days or this sort of work, and they're not taking shots at me. Look, you could trace any strategy you want. I don't really care. I teach this particular strategy because it's the easiest for beginners and the best for those that truly can. And this tends to be guys in the military and women because they just follow the rules, right? And the rules are don't fiddle in the middle when you're first learning. Don't trade the NASDAQ when you're first learning. So they come in and they trade the Dow Jones. And if they were trading the Dow Jones today for the last hour with me, they wouldn't be in a trade, right? They just wouldn't be in a trade because price didn't get down to this level right here, right? And it didn't get up to this level right here. So what's wild is I get a lot of people, even in my group, that say, I need more formal training on stay in your lane. What else am I going to tell you? Buy here, short here, take profits here. Start there. Just do that. And if you tell me you got killed on a trend day and your first entries were right in here. Now, you know what I love is like they'll sell VWAP after it's come hundreds of points off the bottom or dropped hundreds of points. They'll buy it. And that's a different strategy, right? That's not what this is. You can buy pullbacks to VWAP or short pops to VWAP. Fine. That's a different strategy. All right, cool. That got me going. Maybe we got some good content out of that. And look, I'm just as guilty as anybody else about it. And I think I said in the beginning of the session here today that this is quote unquote not typically something I would be doing or suggest that people do. But given how fast things were moving, we could potentially look, or I could potentially look at making some money in the chop zone here. Well, it turns out I made a little money in these two prop accounts, but lost here. So $192 day, I can live with it. All right. Cool, everybody. Thanks, everybody. Stay green, trade like you mean it. If you're not already aware, I do run a trade room Monday through Friday. Tomorrow's Fun Day Friday. Can always check the description below. It does help if you like these videos, if you're finding any value from them. Again, I'm trying to keep this super simple. You don't see a whole bunch of bubbles and dots on the screen or all kinds of lines and things like that. This might look a little busy to some. It's charts are in the eye of the beholder, but hopefully you can just see this line here, know that, as I've mentioned many, many times, this kind of range is bonkers insane. It's 1,100 and I think that was it was 1,108 points yesterday too. So even on a single contract in the Dow Jones, that's 554 points between the zones. That is just bonkers town. So we'll get back to normal at some point. The new normal, whatever that's going to be. All right, everybody, be good. We'll see you tomorrow. No, I'm not going to stream tomorrow on YouTube, so come check out the room. And also in the right-hand corner here, you can see, is it that way? Grab my Prop Done Right free ebook. It goes through all of these concepts. And then when it comes to teaching the strategy, you'll get linked to a workshop that I did. It's about 3 hours long that goes through all of these concepts, because you don't blindly do anything at these lines, right? Everything is about thinking risk first and then understanding what the volatility profile is in terms of the range. And then you make decisions based on that. And that's all covered in the workshop, which is linked in that Prop Done Right ebook. All right, now I'm done. We'll see you later. Be good. Thanks.